If you've got a Roku of any kind, then you're gonna need these top 10 free channels. Yes, there are plenty of paid apps out there, but you don't have to pay for anything ever again if you don't want to, because there's plenty of great content on the free stuff. So let's dive in. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video and want to see more just like this. All right, now before we get to the top 10 free channels, let's actually talk first about how to download them. So if you're new to Roku, this will be valuable to you. If you're not, if you already know how to download these apps, then you can go ahead and safely skip ahead just, a minute and a half while I show how to do this. What I'm gonna do on the left side is come down here to streaming channels. And then if I click over here, I can come into this featured section and see what Roku recommends for me, or I can come down here to search channels. So if you know what you're looking for, if you're looking for one of the ones that I'm gonna highlight here today, then you can go and search it that way. So if we wanna look for something news-worthy, I guess, we can go to news and you'll see Newsmax TV, news, NewsON, Newsy. There's all sorts of news channels. Anyway, so that's how you're gonna go ahead and do that. Once you decide on one, you just click on it, and I've already got this one. In fact, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but it'll give you an option to download it, and then it will appear on your home screen. Speaking of which, let's go back to that home screen and talk about the 10 apps that I think top our list. In fact, I might throw a couple extra in there. Anyway, on this Roku system, I'm going to kind of skip past these premium options, the Netflixes, the Hulus, HBO Max. You've got to pay for all of these, right? Well, except for one, and that's Peacock. Peacock is a premium streaming service from NBC Universal. It's got a lot of amazing content on there, and it has a free tier, unlike all of the other premium versions, all of the Netflixes and Hulus and that sort of thing. So once you get into Peacock, if you're just on the free tier, then it's only going to show you the content that you can watch for free. If you bump yourself up to premium, that is going to cost you a little bit, but you get a little bit more content as well. Frankly, as far as I'm concerned, the free tier is pretty darn good. And you're gonna watch some commercials when you're watching some shows, but it's a small price to pay. In fact, that's gonna be the watchword with a lot of these services is commercial supported, okay? Now, this is not a review of Peacock, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one and come down here to Stirr and Pluto TV. I'm kind of lumping these two together because they do a very similar thing. If you're moving on from cable, then these two apps are going to be really good for mimicking that cable or satellite experience that you had before, where you do have some on-demand content that you can scroll through on here, or you can come up here to the channel guide, and this is going to give you a guide just like what you were used to on your cable or satellite provider. So as you can see, there is plenty to watch. The only catch here is these are not the channels that you're used to on cable and satellite. These are kind of the stepchildren of those channels. So you do have a lot of the same kind of content, and as you can see, a lot of reruns, that sort of thing. But I can pretty much guarantee that between the reruns, between the Mystery Science Theater 3000, all that sort of stuff, there is going to be plenty for you to keep entertained by. Now, as I said, there is some on-demand content when it comes to Stirr, but if you go over to Pluto TV, this one I think is even a little bit better, and this is our number 3 app here. Pluto TV has, I think, and this is, again, personal opinion, a little bit better channels, a little bit better content, and they have a much better on-demand library. So if we're watching live TV, yes, we can go through and check out all of the different channels that they have there. Again, not the channels you're used to, but still a lot of good content. Or we can go back up here, press the back button, go up to the top, and push on demand. And they've actually got a pretty decent library of on-demand content that you can watch anytime. So this one is kind of a mix of mimicking your cable experience and mimicking something like a Netflix. It's not as good as Netflix, but they do have a lot of good stuff here. And again, it is going to be commercial supported. All right, let's move on to NewsON. I already showed you this a little bit when we were talking about how to download these apps, but NewsON is the one that I recommend for news. If you are moving away from cable and satellite, you're gonna have a ton of options for getting news. There are a lot of national news options, but NewsON is your source for local news feeds, and it is fantastic for that. So I'm here in the Salt Lake City area, and the affiliate that we have is our CBS affiliate. and that's great. But it will also show me stations near me. So whether it's in Colorado or Nevada or Idaho, it's going to show me that stuff that is close to me. Maybe I have family and friends around there and I kind of want to check in on that. But it goes even further than that. If you come up here to by location, then it's got all 50 states, and each of those is going to have, at least I think it's all 50 states, I haven't actually counted, but it's going to have each market in there and which affiliates they have content from. So if I go to Ohio, it's going to have Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, and so on and so forth, and list out all of the potential stations that you have to watch there. So if I click into WLWT, or however they say that, I don't know, WLWT, not only does it have live feeds when they're on, but you can actually get on demand the newscasts that they have already done. So I can watch their 2:30 a.m. newscast if I, for some reason, wasn't awake for that. It's pretty cool. All right, let's move on to our next option, and that is PBS and PBS Kids. This is another twofer. I've got PBS Kids right here. I know PBS is around here somewhere, but let's stick with PBS Kids. Either way, what it's gonna do is pull in content from your local PBS station and the national stuff as well. So anything that is available for you to watch on your local PBS station is gonna be available here on the app as well, including whatever is playing live at the moment. But you do have it all on demand also. So my kids love Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, they love Curious George, and I can just put that on to their heart's content, all for free, because hey, it's PBS, right? Next up is the Roku Channel. The Roku Channel obviously is only going to be available on your Roku machine. Now, the Roku Channel has a live TV channel guide, just like a couple of the other services that I mentioned before, but it's also got a lot of other on-demand content, and it does one other cool thing that I will mention. So you can go through, you can watch the, again, the kind of stepchildren of the cable channels in the live TV guide. You've got that here. You've got the on-demand content if you prefer. Or if you come down here, one of the things that the Roku Channel is trying to do is pull all of your stuff into one place. So if you do end up paying for content from any premium services, then you can do that here through the Roku Channel as well, and then everything is in one place. So it's not going to be all of those premium services, but something like Starz, BET Plus, AMC Plus, you can pay for those and get them in here in the Roku Channel. Now again, you don't have to do that. We're talking about free content here today, and this is going to provide you with a lot of actually really quality free content, including some stuff that is pretty new, like the Taken series, etc., etc. The next apps that we'll highlight are, again, pretty similar. We have Tubi and Crackle. Tubi is kind of the original Netflix cosplayer, whatever we want to call it. Tubi looks and smells and feels a lot like Netflix, but the library is different. They don't have any originals, and it is commercial supported. But the titles that they have here are very nice. You know, not everything that they have is something you're gonna watch, but that's the thing, is they have a massive library. The only thing you're gonna need to be aware of is that when you watch this, you are gonna get commercial breaks throughout whatever movie or show you are watching. Tubi is also a great destination if you're looking for live news feeds, and we'll talk more about live news feeds in just a moment. Sony Crackle, or just Crackle if you're looking for it on the app list. Crackle is similar to Tubi. Again, this is looks and smells and feels a lot like a Netflix version, or a free version of Netflix. But the difference here is the library of content that's available and the Crackle originals. So if I go over here to watch now, I can check out TV shows, movies. If I'm signed in, I can create a list of things to watch later. But in each of these, they do have Crackle originals. And you know, it's not the best, most premium content of all time. You know, this isn't HBO style stuff, but that doesn't mean it's not quality. There is some pretty good stuff in here. I've watched one or two and could recommend some, but we're not really doing that today. But I did want you to be aware of that though. I should also mention Filmrise. Filmrise is another Netflix cosplayer, you know, another fake Netflix, you might say. Commercial supported free content, but there is one thing that I want to point out with Filmrise that's pretty cool. If you are really interested in one specific type of content, then Filmrise is an app that you want to be aware of, because if I scroll all the way back down here to the very bottom to suggested channels, okay, now I see Filmrise thriller, horror, comedy, action, And a lot of these are going to be separate apps, okay? So you can get an entire free content app dedicated to whatever your preferred genre is. So if you absolutely love horror movies, then you go check out Filmrise Horror, and it will take you to the Roku screen where you can download that app. Pretty neat. Next up is YouTube. I mean, obviously, YouTube is awesome. You should be watching me on it all the time, right? Right. Now, YouTube, you know about YouTube. This is where you go when you want to search whatever internet videos you want to watch. It's really great on your TV if you are doing something like, say you want to check out the Bucks versus the Packers and just the highlights from yesterday's game. Then you go in and watch it full size on your TV, obviously after the ads play. But there is one thing I want to point out with YouTube that is going to be of interest to news junkies specifically. We already talked about NewsON, or if you've cut the cord and now you're streaming, that's where you're going to go get your local news, right? But if you want the national news and you want to skip the shout factories that are cable news networks, you can actually come on here to YouTube, go over here to the news section, and there's going to be live streams, a lot of live streams. Now, it's not going to be, again, it's not the shout factories, so you're not going to get all of those shows. But if there is something important happening, if there's a press briefing at the White House or what have you, then the live feeds from the national news providers are going to be here on YouTube, and I highly recommend this be a place that you go to check that out. And the very last app that I will mention is Spotify. Spotify is another one of those ones with a free option and a premium option, but you don't have to go with the premium version. If you don't mind commercial supported music, then you have Spotify. And Spotify is available on your smart TV devices, like Roku. So if you log into Spotify, you're going to get your entire library and all of your playlists and all of your podcasts and that sort of thing. So if for whatever reason you have got your TV in the room, but you're not looking to watch anything, you just want to listen, then Spotify is available for you to do that. So there you have it. The top 10, well, okay, I think there were a couple bonus ones in there, but the top 10 free channels for your Roku. Make sure you've got these, and if you do, then paying for content becomes pretty much optional. I'm not saying you won't want to get Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff, but you don't have to if you don't want to, now that you can get more content than you ever could consume for free. So you're welcome. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you give this video a like if it was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. I'll be doing similar videos in the coming weeks for Fire TV and Apple TV and maybe some others as well. So put in your requests in the comments below, and also let us know if there are any channels that we missed that you love. Hit the comments below with those suggestions as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.